Hi guys, this is MSU Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we were with Miles Kirby, who got first place today at our 15th locals of the semester. So, Miles, what did you play today?
Today I was playing Birds post-ban list, so this is your updated list for the December 1st ban list.
Ooh, can't wait to see the changes.
So unfortunately I wasn't able to go to regionals. We all know I would have won if I was able to go to the regionals, but I'll give you guys the list, the spice anyways. So we're running 3 of the Robina, 3 of the first baby bird. Pretty self-explanatory. The bird, like, core list hasn't changed that much. 3 Eaglin, 1 Stree, and 1 Topping. Still don't want to play the second Stree. I saw one profile of someone playing a second Topping. You definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, even though Stree is like good this format because it hits a lot of stuff like Tier and Sprite, you just don't want to play a second one because you'll just brick on it too much. It's not quick enough. You just want to play the Crow for Tier. But yeah, I mean, like, Stree's a good card. It feels like you lose also too much to activating Stree, targeting a card in your own graveyard, and then your opponent crowing it or hitting it with some sort of quick effect.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you just don't want to play the second Stree, in my opinion. You definitely want to play the 2 M-Pen. I used to not be on 2 M-Pen. I used to be on 1 M-Pen. But 2 M-Pen, you have to play it because, if you're playing normal flu combos and going through turns, most of the time you won't be able to kill on turn 3. So you'll need to go into turn 5 to be able to get the amount of attack points required to kill. Like, you only kill on turn 3 if you open Insane. So you usually have to go into turn 5 to be able to kill, and that if that's the case, you'll need to resolve Eaglin 4 times total. So you'll need to be able to search it for M-Pen, M-Pen, Ryza, and Apex Avian. Because you can't resolve the second normal summon of Eaglin, you can't resolve any part of its effect unless you have a level 7 in deck to search. So you'll need to be able to have the second M-Pen also because it's insane. Like, if you do your second turn against most boards, and you do double M-Pen, double barrier statue, which you'll see in just a second. Like, most boards can't out that. Even if they dark roll you flip the trap card, just put up the second M-Pen, the second barrier statue, and then they lose again. Or if they normal summon a monster and then they attack over your barrier statue, they go to main phase 2, you activate the trap card and put up the second barrier statue, and then they still lose. So, yeah, all in all, double M-Pen is really powerful, and then double barrier statue. I don't know why people don't play 2 barrier statue. Like, 2 barrier statue is too good. It comes up too often. Yeah, I mean, barrier statue is a broken card. Got banned in Match Duel recently. Fingers crossed it doesn't get banned in real life, but we'll see what happens. You run the 1 DD Crow because it's searchable, and then you run the 3 Shifter because you never see it. I literally never see Shifter anymore. I used to see Shifter when I first played Flu, sold the entire deck, bought it back a couple months later, and now I don't see it anymore. It must be pissed at me. It's like, oh, you didn't have faith.
Very mad.
Yeah, so I never see Shifter anymore. But I mean, you still have to run it. It's like an insane card if it resolves. You run the 3 map. Obviously, you run the 1 terraforming for consistency. I wish terraforming was back at 3. I miss playing ABCs with 3 terraforming. You have to run the 3 quick play spell. This card's insanely high value right now. It needs the reprint, but we'll see when that happens. And then you run the 1 continuous spell. I've seen some people run the 2 continuous spell. You don't run 2 continuous spell because you really, like, the ratios are pretty figured out for them. Like, you have to run these kind of ratios because you're trying to minimize the amount of times that you don't see a baby bird, because then your turn's basically over. And even if you see, like, some of the baby birds by themselves, your turn's over anyways. So you don't want to run too many cards. Even though, like, it's a powerful card, you just don't run too many copies of, it's too much of a good thing. Okay, so new list, 3D Fissure. So when they made the new list and they put macro to 3 and deck, I saw a lot of people making jokes. They were saying stuff like, we're going to run 3 Di-Fi, 3 macro, 3 Necro Valley, set rotation, terraforming, 3 shifter, like all this stuff. And I said, okay, like, yeah, that's funny, but in reality, this is what you'll do. You'll do 3 fissure. This is at least my ratio that I was thinking for the regional. I was going to main deck 3 fissure. I wasn't sure about macro. I didn't test it that much. Macro's obviously the worst of the three because it's a trap card, it's slower. So even if you go first, you have to set macro, whereas this works, like, because Tier's going to be playing, Tier will play on your turn. So Di-Fi is good, Shifter is good to stop Tier from playing on your turn, Macro doesn't stop Tier from playing on your turn, turn 1, or turn 0, or whatever you want to call it. So this is obviously the best one. You run 3 of this, and then you run the 3 Prosperity and the 3 Duality to see it. A lot of the time, if you play Fissure, and you play 3 copies of Fissure, plus you play these cards, sometimes you'll open Fissure, and then you'll find another one later on with a Duality or Prosperity. Funny enough, at Locals, last week in Lansing, I opened a Fissure, did my entire first turn combo against Tier, and then activated a Duality at the very end, and grabbed a second Fissure, put it down, and after he saw the 2 Fissures, he just scooped. He was like, it's going to be hard enough to play through 1, but if you put down a second Fissure, it just secures the game. Yeah, it's like really difficult for people to play through this. A lot of people aren't playing Twin right now. At least, well, I say a lot of people aren't playing Twin. Tier can play Twin, but a lot of like other decks like Exos and Flue Mirrors and all this stuff isn't playing Twin, so they're not going to be able to hit this and the Field Spell or the Continuous Spell. When you play the 3 Dark Ruler, I'm still on maining the 3 Dark Ruler. It feels less good this format, but it's still good enough. Like, it's really you're only going second card in the main deck, other than I guess Shifter, and but like you don't run really like hand traps in this deck. So this is like your going second card. It's just breaking a board. Usually you Dark Ruler the board. You if you have this, you pretty much clear their entire board. But if you just have Dark Ruler, you Dark Ruler the board. You put up the Barrier Statue M-Pen, you attack over their most problematic card, and then usually, like, if you're going against, like, a Sprite board, you'll leave, like, the Elf on board and, like, maybe one of their main deck monsters. Once they get to their turn and they do any actions, you just rise to the board to clean up. And they can't activate the Elf anyways, because you put the M-Pen down while the Elf is on field. I mean, if the player's good, they'll play around that, but, you know, we don't play against good players, we're playing Flue. Then you run the 2 trap cards. So run the 1 trap card, and then you run the 1 macro in the main. So I'm still questioning the macro in the main. It felt really good when it hit, and then it felt really bad when it didn't. So I don't know if the highest highs are worth the lowest lows, but we're still testing the macro. We're trying to figure out ratios. So that's the main deck. It's 40 cards. I wouldn't really make any changes as of right now, but we're still thinking about macro, what we want to do. Let's go on to the extra deck next. Extra deck, we have your 6 prosperity targets. So the Shurag, the Fairjeet, the Fossil Skull Warrior, the Garura, Wind Pegasus, and Omega. So these are your 6 prosperity targets. They're all for like playing against like anything that runs punishment or anything that runs Maximus, anything like that. So yeah, this is what you run this for, like the Dogmatica matchup. Then you run the 7th prosperity target, your Natis. It's just like the best one to keep in. If you're going first, you activate Prosp. You banish these 6, and then if your opponent happens to be playing, you know, a Maximus or a Dogmatica or something, you have this still in your extra deck. Then you have the Xyz monsters, the Assembled, the Downward, and the Zeus. So, yeah, I mean, these are just, it's the only Xyz package you really need. When I was playing, what's it called? Ultimate Slayer at the last regional that I went to. Inside, you had to run one other Xyz monster to send off the Ultimate Slayer so that you still had this in your extra deck in case. It was like this level 1 winged beast, like Kusi, I don't even know how to pronounce the name. It was like something Fucho. It was like a random level 1 bird common, but rank 1 bird common. But basically all it did was in the extra deck, if you didn't have the Ultimate Slayer, you'd make it, and then it was like indestructible. So pretty much the same as Assembled Nightgale, just worse. But I mean, it was the only other like rank 1 winged beast bird Xyz monster, I think. So yeah, but we don't play that anymore. The 1 Anima, the 1 Phoenix, and the 1 Unicorn. So these are the Link monsters that you'll play. Like this is your Link 1. You don't play the Link Karibo. You don't play any of the other stuff. You don't play the Almirage or anything. You just play these 3. Then the BLS link. So these two are your outs for problematic like towers like monsters. So the BLS link and the Underworld Goddess. This is because I'm still scarred of Adignisters, but I mean ultimately I've never seen them. And then this you can also use to get over like Agnister boards, because if you make this, so if they make the 4,000 attack towers, you make this after on your turn 2, so turn 4, because they'll play on their turn, extend a little bit, put out more monsters. You make this using your M-Pen, and then you attack over one of their monsters with this. Use its effect to pump it up to 45. So then it's too high for the towers to attack over. And then you, I don't know, pretty much just protect the BLS link. Yeah, that's the extra deck though. I wouldn't change anything about it, but I mean, you win 99% of games without ever touching the extra deck. Side deck, you run the 3 Cyclone. So I was debating between this and Twin for regionals. Birds obviously like to have like cards in hand. But also I feel like I go to time too much in regionals, so that's why I don't like paying 1,000. Obviously this is the not pay 1,000 spell trap destruction around the 1 Harpies. 3 Raigeki, so can't afford Lightning Storm. You play Raigeki instead, but I mean, yeah, Raigeki is just, it's pretty much as powerful as Lightning Storm. You can do it multiple times per turn. It doesn't have any restrictions on having cards in hand. I have had multiple times where I like draw 2 Raigeki, you activate 1 Raigeki, they'll probably, that will you generally pay out like a negate. Then you'll be able to build your board, and then anything you can't clear at the end, you just use the second Raigeki, and then they have like no follow-up. So Raigeki is powerful. It's kind of sucky against tier, but because if they leave like a level 2 on the field, which a lot of tier players will do nowadays, then it'll trigger their effects and they'll be able to start comboing. But yeah, I still like Raigeki. So this was a tech that I was testing out. I actually got suggested this by my friend Nick. So shout out to Nick ahead of time, early before the end. Shout outs to Nick. The 2 Econ. So we were going over the theory for this for regionals. And so a lot, like obviously Flu players used to play Book of Moon, and Econ right now is just better Book of Moon. It solves all the problems that Flu players would have, and it does it better than Book of Moon. So if you're going second with Econ, you're playing against tier, and they know what you're playing. Generally, they'll set up like a Baguska. You activate the Econ in standby after the, or you just activate the Econ in standby. Change the Baguska to attack. Turns off the Baguska. It's a 1-for-1. And then it turns off their Floodgate. If you're going first and you have the Econ in hand, you set it face down. It functions exactly like Book of Moon. If they attack, if they're some normal summon their monster, they try to move to battle to attack into your barrier statue. You use this to change it to defense, so it stops the attack into the barrier statue. And then also, it does the exact same thing as Book of Moon in terms of dodging, like targeting negates. You going second, I had this today, where I was playing against a Sprite tier player, and what he did is he activated, so I did Eglin 1, Rabina 2, and Banish Pal. He did Chainlink 3, Dragos Depelia, used it to target the Eglin. I did Chainlink 4, Econ, tributing the Eglin, which is, so dodges the target negate exactly like Book of Moon would do. But then in addition, I got to take his Sprite Red, so that it turned off another negate. He ended up still winning that game, but that's aside from the point. Econ is good. Then the second macro, this is solely for if you're going first against tier, you want to put this in, just because it wins games against tier, but yeah, I'm still testing the macros. I'm really not sure about them. It's like the card I'm least confident in right now. And then you play the 2 Trap Trick and the 3 copies of the Win a Game Trap card. So Flu has a lot of Win a Game cards in its deck. All the Floodgates that you can play plus this. This card is insane. People complaining about Shifter. I feel like this card is more broken than Shifter, because what you do is Shifter, yeah, okay, Shifter is like a very powerful card, don't get me wrong. But you normal summon the Eglin, so you can normal summon a barrier statue itself, play this card, and then a lot of decks will just like lose to that, like this and barrier statue. But even then, so you can play, like you normal summon the Eglin, they have any card to negate you. Like even if you don't open up good, If you open up this going first with, or any way to get to this, like the trap trick, plus like the Eaglin, or I really like if you have full combo, then you definitely win. But if you have like even just the Eaglin, you normal summon the Eaglin, they negate it. Then you set one, they're like, oh, this guy doesn't have like anything, he's playing on nothing. I'm gonna combo off. Featherstorm, you flip it after they activate their first monster effect. It's way too powerful because it just, I mean, you guys all know what it does at this point, but yeah, Featherstorm is insane. This card should honestly it shouldn't be banned. It's conditional, not like Shifter, but I don't know. It's a really powerful card. Like it's just a game-winning card, 100%. So that's the side deck. That's pretty much everything I was playing today. Shoutouts to MSU Yu-Gi-Oh Club. Shoutouts to all the people that let me borrow cards. I'm looking at you, Caleb, and Rico, and Gal, and all these people that have let me borrow cards. Shoutouts to Nick. Shoutouts to MSU. Everyone that comes to MSU. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my deck profile.
Well, thank you very much, Miles.
Yep.
All right.